Hi everyone, we're gonna create this circular animation using scroll variant feature and doing some scroll jacking in Framer. As we scroll down to see new content, left and right halves of that section's icon creates the hole at the top with this rotate effect, which looks really nice and makes our UI interesting and creates a great experience, right? Links for the both starter and finished files are in the description below. So let's get started. We have the sticky position stack, which includes the only pre-made component in this tutorial, content, since I didn't want to make the tutorial longer just for creating the variants for the content, which I've generated with ChatGPT. As we can see in its components screen, we have 5 variants in total, but named in a way to match the scroll section IDs to keep things easier when we add the scroll variant effect to it. We also have this icons frame, which includes the icon that we're going to animate around the circular background our content has. Last element of our sticky stack contains the triggers that we're gonna need in scroll variant effect. Since I've duplicated these many times in my past tutorials to create all the triggers, I've decided to focus on the core effect instead of demonstrating those repetitive steps. We can see each trigger has its scroll section name as a number. That's gonna help us again in scroll variant effect settings, as we're gonna trigger variant 1, 2 with the first trigger and variant 2 with the second one, etc. As you see, the last trigger doesn't have a scroll section since we need it as a placeholder. That gives us enough time to view the last variant of our component before scrolling to the next section. The layer structure under icons might look like including more inner layers than it needs, but since we're gonna divide the icons to left and right halves and then unite them, each half needs its own container to meet at the center with a circular animation, since we need both animations to have the same origin. It might sound complicated now, but it's gonna make more sense once we start animating. First, I'll make icon inner a component. In the component screen, to create the left half of the icon, I will select material and enter -45 for its right value to have only the left half of the icon visible as we want. Then I'll wrap icon in another frame and name it left wrap, and I'll select the icon frame and remove its right and bottom pins on the right panel. Then I will select left wrap and under position I will make it centered and its width and height 100%. Then I'm gonna center it with the alignment buttons, and I will toggle the guides on to make the guide I placed beforehand visible, and select icon frame. I'm gonna move it to the left of the center guide. We can also enter 240 for its left value to do that. Now that we have the left half of our icon in a frame that we can rotate as we want, we can duplicate it, rename it right wrap, select icon frame under it and remove its left pin, then enter 240 for its right spacing to place it to the right of the guide, select material under it, remove its right pin and enter -45 for its left spacing to basically have the right half of the icon. Now that we have 2 frames that can help us to rotate the icons around the origin we need, we can select left wrap frame and rotate it -180 degrees and make its opacity 0, since in its default variant we need it to be invisible. Then we can select right wrap, rotate it 180 degrees clockwise, make its opacity 0. We also need an active variant of our component, right? So after renaming the first variant default, I will duplicate it, and name the new one active. In the active variant, first I will select left wrap and make its opacity 1, rotate it 180 degrees clockwise to take it back to its original position. Then I'll do the same for right wrap by first making its opacity 1 and either rotating it 180 degrees counterclockwise or entering 0 for its rotation under the transform section. Last thing we need to do in this component is assigning the icon name to a variable, right? Since we created this component to be able to easily switch the icons and active states for the sections. So in the default variant, I will select both material icons under left and right wrap frames, click name under material component properties, and after assigning it to a variable, I will name it icon name. Now we can go back to home screen, wrap icon inner in another frame and name it icon wrap, make it a component. And in the component screen, we can start cloning icon inner component to have all the icons we need, right? First, I will rename icon inner as icon 1 to match its name, the first section. I will duplicate it and rename the new one icon 2. I'll repeat the same steps to create icon 3 and 4. Now we need to create other variants and set the active icon for each variant, right? So I will duplicate variant 1 and name it variant 1, 2. Again, to match naming the sections. In the new variant, I will make icon 1's variant set to active under its component properties. Duplicate variant 1 again, name it variant 2 and make icon 2 active in it. And select icon 2 in the primary variant and make its icon name bold to change it in all variants. Then I will duplicate primary variant once more, name it variant 3, make icon 3 active in it. Select icon 3 in the primary variant and change its name to devices. For the last variant, I will duplicate the first variant once more, name it variant 4, make icon 4 active in it. Select icon 4 in the primary variant and change its name to flaky. Now that we have all the variants we need for our icons, we can go back to home screen and add scroll variant effect to icon wrap component, right? Making trigger section in view, report center section 1, variant 1, 2, then setting section 2 for variant 2, 3 for 3, and same for the last pair of variant and sections. Now we can preview and we can see our effect works, but it looks a little fast and its bounce is too much. So I will go to icon wrap component screen and then to icon inner and clicking spring next to transition. I will make time 1 second to slow it down a little bit and make its bounce 0.1. Before checking again, after going back to home screen, we can also add scroll variants to our content components, right? With trigger section in view, report center, section 1 for variant 1, 2, 2 for 2, and thanks to our naming convention, we're gonna easily pair the rest of the section and variants, right? Let's preview. And we can see our circular icon animation works perfectly, right? With each half of the icons uniting at the top after a great circular animation. Also, our content changes with a nice fade-in effect. Since we're scroll jacking our content here, resulting in this really nice overall effect. I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials, and see you in the next one.